Hey guys, Ketan again. Today we're solving another problem from the beginner level of CodeChef in C++. And today's problem is sums in a triangle. The problem code is SUMTRIAN, sum trian. Okay, let's consider a triangle of numbers in which a number appears in the first line, two numbers appear in the second line, three numbers in the third line, and so on. Develop a program which will compute the largest of the sums of numbers that appear on the paths starting from the top towards the base, so that on each path, the next number is located on the row below, more precisely either directly below or below and one place to the right. The number of rows is strictly positive but less than 100. All numbers are positive numbers between 0 and 99. Okay, so we are given a triangle of numbers. What that means is, okay, this is test case, 2 is the number of test cases, and then this whole thing is the first test case. Okay, now every test case contains first of all n value. Here it is 3, which says that there are 3 rows, right? The height of the triangle is 3, okay, which means there are 3 rows of numbers, okay, and the pattern is that the first row will have only one number, the second row will have only the second row will have 2 numbers, and the third row will have 3 columns, each column with a number. Okay, so that's the pattern. Here we have 4. This is the second test case, so we have 4 rows. Okay, this is an increasing order of columns. Right, now what we have to find out is the maximum possible sum when we follow a path, and that path is defined as, let's say we start here, right? Okay, let me take this example. It will be a bit easier to explain. Let me take this example. I'll use Paint to explain this. 1 2 1 1 2 3, right? So we have 1, and then we have 2 1, and then we have 1 2 and 3. Now what we want is maximum sum following a path, and the path can be, we start from here, every path starts from here, and then we can go either directly below and add this number, or we can go one below and one to the right, which means this number, right? We have to choose if we want to add this or this, so that we can maximize the sum. So let's say we follow this path. 1 plus 1 will be 2, right? So the sum will be 2. But if we follow 1 plus 2, it will be 3, right? So let's say we choose this path, 1 plus 2 3. Now after we came here, we can either choose this one or this one, right? So it can be 3 plus 1 4, or 3 plus 2 5, right? This is the maximum, so we'll choose this one, right? That's how it will go if we choose 1 2 and 2. Okay, now if we choose 1 and 1 here, now after choosing 1, the sum will be 2. Then we could choose 2 or 3, right? So if we choose 2, 2 plus 2, right, it will be 4. And if we choose 3, it will become 5. 2 plus 3, right? So this is how the max path is calculated. Like, this is how a path works. But you can see that, how do we know which path to choose, either directly below or directly below and one to the right? In this example, we see that both are 5s, so we could choose either one and just go. It looks simple because we can use greedy method and just select what is the maximum of these two numbers, but it doesn't work like that, because let's say you have, okay, let me erase this, right? Now this path will yield 5 as the maximum, but if you choose 1 1 and 4, it will actually yield 6 as the maximum, right? So if you follow the greedy method and choose 1 and 2 and then 2 1 and 2, then you can't choose 4, right? So you'll be stuck with 5. But if you choose 1 and 1, which is the lower of these two numbers, you'll end up having the higher sum, right? So you can't solve this by coming from the top using the greedy method. We can actually solve it in a different way, still using the greedy approach, right? Well, actually we can use multiple approaches. Okay, let me talk about the okay, I'll actually be solving the problem in greedy method. So let me talk about another method first, so that you'll understand that there are other methods, but we'll be solving it in greedy method. Okay, now you could choose recursive way using memoization, which is basically dynamic programming. Okay, you could start here, right? Instead of starting from the top, you can start from the last element and choose either directly above or above and left. Okay, these are the two options. Since this is like the last element, you can't choose the one above, so you have to choose the top left one, right? So that will lead 4. This will give you 4, right? And then you go to this element, okay, and you see like 2 plus 1 will yield 3 and 2 plus 2 will yield 4, right? Of these two, you choose the maximum one. Okay, you could do this, and using memoization, like storing these intermediate weights, you could choose to store them, and that will basically yield to memoization, and you can slightly improve the algorithm in that way, right? That's a bit complicated, like if you don't know dynamic programming concepts, it'll be a bit complicated. So let me talk about the greedy method. We can still use the greedy approach here, and how that works is you start from this line, and it's not just the second line, it's the second line from the last. Okay, let's take this example first, so that it will be better to understand. 1 1 2 1 1 2, and then 4 1 2, and then we have 2 3 1 1. Right, so we have to start here, which is the second last row. Okay, so the n value will be 4 here, n equal to 4. So we'll start from third row. Okay, since we'll be using zero based indexing, this is the 0th row, this is the first row, this is the second row, this is the third row. So when you have an n value, you'll be starting from n minus 2, right? You have 4, so you'll be starting from n minus 2 in the loop. Okay, now when you start here, you take this element and you find out which is the greater of its descendants, right? So we have 2 and 3 as its descendants. Again, we are following the rule of the path, which is you can select the element directly below, or you select the bottom right one, right? So using that rule, we can select either 2 or 3. Here we just simply find out what is the maximum. It is 3, right? So we add 3 to 4 and we make it 7. Okay, we make it 7. Now this is 7, and now we look at the second element. We can choose 3 or 1. Since 3 is maximum, we change this to 4, right? Now we are here and we look at this. We can either choose 1 or 1, it doesn't matter. So we add 1 and it's 3. Okay, now we don't have to consider this anymore. We have processed this row. Now we shift the pointer, like we are looking at this row, right? We start from n minus 2 and we go up till 0th row. Okay, now here we again choose what is the maximum of these two elements. Okay, we have 7 and 4, and the maximum is 7, so we choose 7. With 1 plus 7, it will become 8. Okay, and here with 2, you can either choose 4 or 3. You'll have to choose 4, right? It will become 6. Now we go up again, and now with 1 we can choose out of 8 and 6, 8 is maximum, so we choose 8. So 1 plus 8 is going to be 9, and this is the maximum sum that you can get. Okay, now why does this work? This works because we are basically eliminating the we are exploring all the options, like we are seeing all the paths, but when we are starting from n minus 2, we'll be able to guarantee that there are only two paths here, right? Because there are no other elements, we'll be able to guarantee that these are the only two paths available to this element. Okay, now that we have chosen the best path by just finding out the maximum, we can move on to other elements, and after this whole level is explored, we can move on to next level. Now since we are adding 3, which is the maximum, to this number, we'll also be able to guarantee that this level is the last level that we have to see, right? We are eliminating the possibility of other paths existing which are better than the current path. Okay, that's how this greedy method works. So since we explored this algorithm, like the process, let's code it up. Okay, it's really simple. You just have to start from the second last row and then go up, right? While you are in a row, you explore all the elements, and for each element you find out which is the best option that you can select. Okay, it's as simple as that. I actually coded it up so that I can be sure of the answer before telling you guys. Okay, now this is the test case loop, right? After getting the test cases, we have to get the n value, which is the number of rows, or you can call it the height of the triangle. Let's call it n, and then we take it in, right? Now for we just have to run a loop to gather all these elements, and let's store them in two-dimensional array, right? It's simple enough to store it in an array, two-dimensional array, and the size of the array will be n by n. If you think about it, we'll be wasting a good amount of memory, since this is a triangle. All the elements okay, let me go to paint. Okay, since this is a 2D array, these will all be 0, right? So you're essentially wasting this whole space. You won't be using it at all, right? So be aware of that. If you know vectors in C++, which is a part of STL, you can use them to optimize the space. Okay, but since we can't change the array size dynamically, we will have to go with 2D array to make it simple, right? Now we just store it. So let's run a loop for, let's call it j1, which is, or let's call it row, int row equal to 0 and row less than n, row plus plus. Okay, now we'll need another loop which will be column. It will again start from 0, column less than, and column plus plus. Okay, column will be less than the row plus 1. Okay, this is because when we are at the first row, which is the 0th row, we can store one element, right? When you're at the second row, the value of row variable will be 1, right? But you should be able to store 2 of them. That's why we'll use row plus 1. Okay, now we could also think about it like every row will have row plus 1 number of columns. Okay, that it's as simple as that. Now let's just take in the value and put it in a of row and column. Okay, so now we are inputting, we are just taking the input in this whole loop, right? Now we have to process it. For that, we'll again need 2 loops, just like this, since it is a 2-dimensional array. But the row will start from n minus 2, as we discussed, and it will go until it is 0, which means it will go till here, right? It will go till the top element. So here we have to decrement it instead of incrementing it, and this will again be the same. Okay, here what we have to do is we are here, so we find out which is the maximum element and then add that element to our current element. Okay, so A of row of column plus equals to, because we are adding it, right? We are adding 3 to 4, that's why we can use plus equals to, and then plus equals to max. We have to use the max, which will find out which is greater, either 2 or 3, right? Max of A of row plus 1, because see here we are starting at this row but we are looking at elements of the next row, right? So this is the first row which is indexed as 0, this is indexed as 2, and this is indexed as 2, so this is indexed as 1, and this is indexed as 3, right? When we are at second row, or this is third row, we are looking at the next row which is fourth row, right? That's why we are using row plus 1 index. And now which column are we looking at? We are looking at this column only, right? This is column 0, column 1, column 2 and column 3, right? We are looking at this column only first, and then the other variable will be A of row plus 1 again, but here column plus 1, because we are looking at this element, right? So this is in the first column. Okay, so, okay, that's clear. Oh, right, you don't have to worry what happens when we are at this element, because the column plus 1 will still hold since it is a triangle, right? Now with this single line of code we are able to capture the maximum and add it to the line, add it to the element, and then move up again. Okay, so that will be enough. Now the answer will be what is at the top of the element, right? Because we are adding these and we are continuing up, and at the end this will have the largest sum. Okay, so we only need to output A of 0 0, and then we'll use the end line to format the test cases, and that's it. Now this is the input that was given. Let's check this code against the given input and let's see if it works. Alright, we got 5 and 9, and that's exactly correct. Let's submit this, and let me talk about the time complexity and the space complexity. Well, the time complexity will be, okay, we got the correct answer. The time is 0.13 seconds, which is acceptable since the time limit given was 3 seconds, right? Okay, the time complexity will be order of n square, because since this is a two-dimensional array, this loop will run n times, well, order of n times, and this loop will also run order of n times. So n into n will give a result of n square. Okay, so the time complexity is order of n square, right? This is also order of n square, this is order of n square, so it's order of 2n square, which again normalizes to order of n square, right? Now the space complexity will be order of again n square, because we are using a two-dimensional array, so the space complexity will also be order of n square, right? That's it. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and hit the like button if you liked it, and subscribe so that you can follow other content. I have really nice, really good videos coming out for you guys, and catch me on the live stream. And yeah, thanks for watching.